It's time to dive beneath the surface and into the minds and hearts of your favorite celebrities and pop culture icons. Welcome to Up and Adam.
Hey guys, what's up? You're watching Up and Adam. My name's Adam Knoll, and for those of you who don't know me, I'm the guy bringing you guys all the weekly recaps and celebrity interviews from your favorite celebrities and pop culture influencers. But for those of you who do know me, you know that that's not why we're always here, right? Guys, today's one of those days, or tonight's one of those nights, because we're back with the Real Housewives of Potomac, and what an episode. But you know how this works, guys. Before I get started, if you haven't already, make sure you like this video, subscribe to my channel, and hit that notification bell. That way you don't miss anything that we have coming up, because we're loading down this channel with so much content right now. We're about to just triple our workload, so stick with us. Okay, guys, so we start off this episode, Real Housewives of Potomac, Season 5, Episode 14, with Candace. Candace humming to get ready for her song or singing lessons. I don't know. She sounded like an ambulance to me coming down the street, but it was her way of getting ready with her friend. Now, we've already met her friend before. Her friend's name is Cliff, and he's apparently in the music business as well. But this is what I have to say, is she's known Cliff for a long time. So, Candace, if you have any secrets, and this is your friend, and listen, I would love to pick Cliff's brain. I would love to pick his brain about what actually goes on in Candace's head sometimes. And I really like Candace. We also see Candace go to meet music producer Chucky Thompson. When Candace went to go meet Chucky, he shares the remix of I See You that she worked really hard on, and I thought it was great. I'm curious what you guys think. Comment below, let me know. But then Chucky drops this bomb. He's like, hey, I want to sign you to the label. Breaks out the ace of spades and gets all excited. Candace is in tears for sure, and it looks like a happy moment. Until actually, guys, if you watch this episode, Candace reveals to Chucky that she was so close to being signed before. It was a girl group, actually. But when she almost had the deal before, her parents ran it through an entertainment lawyer, and they found out it wasn't a good deal. That was actually at the point, I don't know if you guys caught this, but Chucky's face was kind of like, oh, let's keep it moving though. So Giselle and Robin end up meeting at this tea place. At first, they end up talking like it's just them, and we don't think Karen's coming. But Karen shows up. So Giselle's talking to Robin because Dr. Wendy Osefo spilled the beans that Karen was drunk, and she revealed that she helped pay for half of Ray's tax issues and that she wants her money back. Now, when Dr. Wendy Osefo brought that information back to Giselle, and Giselle brought that back to Karen, it was almost like playing a game of telephone, because it did get misconstrued along the way. But Karen seems like she's kind of a pro at just recognizing it for what it is. And I know that sounds crazy coming from me, because usually I'm not a huge pro Karen fan, but in this moment, she really, all the crap that they throw at her, she takes it. And actually, when they sit her down and they bring up this whole conversation, she immediately squashes it, and then she goes on to the conversation about Robin's tax issues. Now, when Robin says, I can't really comment on that right now, you should have seen, like, Karen's face was like, oh, you can't comment on it? You can't, because everybody wanted to know about my business. Everybody wanted to know about my tax issues, but you can't comment about it? Pretty much all I'm trying to say is, like Karen said, she came red day for the Green Eye Bandits, and she did not come to play. She was there to have the honest, hard conversation that she knew that they were going to try to have with her. But then she also came there she knows sitting down with Giselle and Robin, it's gonna be trouble. She knows. That's why I'm saying she's a pro now. What she should know, though, that she obviously doesn't, is not to roast Dr. Wendy. Okay, so at this meeting, real quick, Karen goes on and on about how Dr. Wendy is a doctor of what? So she has 4 degrees, and she's never performed a surgery. She didn't cure cancer. She didn't cure AIDS. She didn't cure any of that. So Karen is kind of confused as to why she's a doctor. But Karen, that's not really how it works. You can still go get an education and not really cut anybody open and still call yourself a doctor. So, and then she reads Dr. Wendy for her slithering kind of walk down the stairs like this. It's kind of like a dance now, like a walk. Sorry, I didn't mean to bump the mic, but it's like a walk. So she was making fun of her, and obviously the women are going to take this back to Dr. Wendy Osefo. Karen knows that. She's not called the word on the street for no reason. Moving on, we go to Ashley, and she's back at the therapist. The therapist that she went to with Michael, but this time it's about herself. And it actually seemed like it was good, like it was therapeutic. She had some self-revelations, and she just pretty much explained that she doesn't feel so much like just wanted. Like, she doesn't feel beautiful. She doesn't feel like she's like that kind of kitty cat in the bedroom. Let's just say that. She feels like more of a utility for Dean at this point. That's where she kind of stands, and she knows that that's not fair. She just wants to get back to a better place, because as the therapist is going through asking her questions of like pretty much 1 to 10, how often do you get anxiety? How often do you cry? She's answering these with alarming answers. She obviously is not happy. So I think that it's good that she, is kind of coming to terms with that. And the therapist recommends, maybe a trip, and she's going to take one. We're going to get to that point, but let's switch back over for a second. Monique. So Monique is on edge, and I can understand why. She's walking around her house. She's trying to get her kids ready. You can totally tell it's going through her mind that, what if I go to jail? What if I'm taken away from my kids? What if the court only hears Candace's side and then they decide to lock me up and then I'm not here? Obviously, there's so many fears going through her head right now, and it makes sense, but I just hate to see anybody stressing like that. Even though, yes, I know what you guys are going to say, Monique put her hands on her first. This is just a bad situation. So bad that let's just actually take it back to Ashley for a second. So Ashley shows up with baby Dean at Giselle's house. Now, Ashley was a little bit shady because she's like, is this thing condemned or it's not condemned or whatever she said, but Giselle was getting in her new garage door, and no, the place does not look like it's condemned. That was a little bit shady, but it's not. When Giselle and Ashley end up sitting down and talking about how life is, what the future holds, what's going on, Ashley brings up the place that she's in with Michael, which we already know that, and the fact that she's ready for a cast trip. Now, when Ashley said that she was originally thinking about inviting Monique, Giselle squashed it. She's like, nope, I'm not going. Candace won't go. How are you going to put Candace in that situation? Robin probably won't go, and Dr. Wendy's not going to go. So none of us are going to go. So obviously Ashley's kind of in between a rock and a hard place, because she's trying to really be there as a friend for Monique when really nobody else is. She's kind of on the outs right now. And she's also trying to still blend with the other women. Now, technically, this isn't Ashley's problem, because Ashley didn't put herself in this situation. Candace and Monique put themselves in this situation. But it just goes to show you how things like this really affect everybody. It affects the whole group. All right, let's move on to Robin's embellished launch. It's not embezzled. So that was another thing, by the way, guys. Giselle is so shady. She's like, what is the name of your company? Embezzled? No. Even Karen said, that's not funny and that's not right. But she knows Giselle, and she knows what she's trying to do there. She thinks that she's clever. She thinks it's cute, but it really is not cute, and it wasn't clever. So it's embellished. And I'm not going to throw shade, but neither was really the event model shoot thing. I really don't know what this embellished thing was for. I guess it was to take more photos for the website and have all the women put on these hats and have a conversation. Technically, this felt like just a reason for them to film. There wasn't really like a whole lot of... there just wasn't any reason for this, period. I get they needed extra content, but in a real world, if they weren't filming, these women probably wouldn't have done that for her anyways. They're not going to all come together for Robin, especially when Candace was just in the last episode saying that her and her wig would light on fire because she's synthetic. I don't think so. It gets embarrassing, though. So Ashley comes in with a box, and she's like, hey. And Robin's like, this is my kind of thing. Like, what do you have? What do you got there? And she's like, oh, just a little bit something for the group. And, after they do the makeshift little photo shoots and everything, Ashley reveals, guys, I've been going through some hard times with postpartum and everything else, that we're going on a trip. So who can guess where we're going? She pulls out a flag out of the box, and I was dying because Jason and I are sitting right here, and we're like, Portugal. And Candace goes, China? No, Candace, it's not China. You should feel embarrassed because you're the one who is also, she went to Howard. That's all I'm going to say. You should know your flags, right? Or am I being too hard and maybe people actually don't know their flags? I don't know. Dr. Wendy Osefo knew, but not because one of her 4 degrees. She knew because of soccer. But yeah, guys, sadly, Dr. Wendy Osefo was the only person to get it. But with that being said, we're going to Portugal. That's exciting. And boom. This is when Dr. Wendy Osefo decides to call out Karen, because this is a conversation that obviously has to be had. Giselle brought this back to Dr. Wendy Osefo and let her know that Karen was making fun of her degrees, making fun of her doctorate, and making fun of the way that she slithered down the stairs. Okay? When Dr. Wendy Osefo ends up calling Karen out, she was going in. She's like, you just... are kind of ignorant in your own right mind, which is kind of funny because that's what Karen called Dr. Wendy Osefo, and that's pretty much what started all of this. But Dr. Wendy Osefo is like, you say that you empower women and I have a PhD and you're sitting there and you're talking bad about it. That's not empowering women. And actually I have 4 degrees and I have a PhD and only 2% of and just going in and just like eviscerating Karen. And Karen was like, actually, to flip the script, and it actually kind of made sense. She's like, I'm an entrepreneur and I have common sense. And while I don't have 4 degrees, I still make it work. So how about that? And that's kind of true too, because there's a lot of millionaires, a lot of billionaires. Well, not a lot of billionaires, but there's some billionaires that didn't even go to college. Look it up for yourself. I'm not going to give you names, and you don't have to work for it. I do want to point out one thing, though. So Giselle thinks that Karen drunkenly talked about her money issues with Ray and wanting to be paid back because she was coming from a place of really hurting. And that's why Giselle wanted to meet with Karen to make sure she's okay. But then Karen kind of pointed out the fact that Giselle brought this messy information back to Dr. Wendy Osefo and added some funk on it, as Karen said. That's probably because she's not in a happy place in her life or maybe in her relationship. Because like Karen said, usually Giselle doesn't meddle unless she's not in a happy place. So Giselle, are you deflecting? Because this is, I have questions. And then with that being said, guys, of course, at the end, when it says 2 days later, probably the last like 2 minutes of the episode, the bomb is dropped. Okay, so Candace starts going off and she's like, F that. Rusty, ASS and BIT. I don't have to say it, but she was mad. She's sitting there going back and forth and talking to her husband about, oh, her cheap lawyer and her, like, less than friends, and just going on this whole tangent about how she just is so stupid for countersuing her. But actually, Candace, I don't think she is. And her lawyer might be better than yours. They still have that NFL money, Candace. Be careful, because Mama Dorothy's money is not matching the NFL money. I'll tell you that most likely. Or I could be wrong and somebody's going to throw something in my face, and that could happen too. But I always like learning something new, so I'm not against it if you know something. But no, I think that it was actually really smart for Monique to countersue her, because what other option did she have? Like Monique said, it takes 2 to tango, and she had a cut on her lip too, and that had to come from somewhere, even though if it was a reaction, it's just, she's not going to go to jail. The point is, she's not going to go to jail and be taken away from her babies and her family without a fight. Without even going to jail, she was going to fight. That's why we're here in the first place. So she's not going to not go down without a fight. That's all I'm saying. But with that being said, again, if you guys haven't already, make sure you like this video, subscribe to my channel, and hit that notification bell. We're going live tomorrow, and I have a few other videos to do. But yeah, Potomac's getting good. I mean, it's episode 14. It should be good, but we're here. All right, guys, thanks for watching. Love you guys, and see you next time.
Thanks for watching Up and Adam.